Greetings, everyone. Happy Sunday. How's everybody doing today? We are in the last couple of days of Aquarius season, and I am the Moon Mama, also known as Monique, and this is our Master Nodal class. And it is my intention to support us as we are living through this profoundly transformational time to understand that the work is internal. As we watch the world catch on fire, greetings, as we watch the world catch on fire and things become chaotic and, seemingly out of control, what we have is this opportunity to take what we're experiencing externally and transmute it into another sense of self, into another consciousness, into recognizing, if we can recognize that the greatest law here is the law of oneness, and that what we're seeing outside of us is a reflection of something that's going on inside of us, and come to an awareness of taking responsibility for it on the inside, there is this alchemic, magical thing that occurs that transmutes the external experience inside of you so that you are not affected by it. So the greatest time I've ever done this before, and I did it not even understanding what I was doing, was in 2017 or 2016 when I voted for Trump. I was I was a very political person. I grew up in a family that was very religious, that was very political, and that dealt with an enormous amount of the experiences that Black people have in this system here. And so I really put a lot of energy into our political system. I studied politics at Howard University. Like, I was deeply invested in our political system, and that politics was the thing that would actually free us as Black people. And I had spent lots of years being invested in it and supporting it and believing in it. And when I saw that Trump was actually when it was actually happening, because in 2017 it was just like, it wasn't, everybody was like, oh, it'll never happen, it'll never happen. And I was watching it and I was writing about it. If you go Google my name, and you'll find articles that I was writing about it. And I was so clear that he was a projection of our internal shadow. He was the projection of the things that we're denying, resisting, um, suppressing. And so I started asking myself, how do I transmute this energy? And so I was doing lots of writing and planned on voting for Jill Stein, whoever she is, in the Green Party, and got into the voting booth. And my spirit clearly said to me, vote for Trump. And I nearly collapsed in the voting booth. Like, an energy came over me. And I was stunned. And so I went and voted all the other things. And then I came back, because it was the very first one. I came back to the very first page and put the punch in and snatched the card out and gave it to the person and ran home and, like, collapsed on my sofa and literally was thinking, why was I directed to do that? Why would I do that? And so I rested for a couple of hours because it shocked me. Like, my system was in shock. And then I started to watch the election stuff come in. And I started to see, like, oh, he's winning. And then I went to an election party, and I was the only Black person at this election party. And everyone was so depressed and sad and down. And I was not. I was like, I had done something. I was like, oh, my energy feels free. It feels like I faced something and it now doesn't have any power over me. And I was at the party and people were just like, they were almost in tears. And I was just like, normal. And then I went and stayed the night with somebody that I was seeing that at the time. And he was really sad. He was like really in the dumps. And I was like, wow. And then the next day, the whole city, like the whole country seemed like they were just in the depths of despair. And I was elated. I was I was in a different paradigm. I was something else was going on with me. And for his entire presidency, to the first time, nothing bothered me. Literally, I just was, everyone was like, ah, and I was just calm. I was like, oh, look at that. And it's like I had been freed from it. Because I had faced it, because I had looked at the monster, I had faced the thing that was most frightening to me, and I didn't deny myself in it. And I had to find myself in it. And what I discovered was that because I was a Black person and a Black woman, I was carrying a lot of DNA garbage around white men and their power and their capacity and ability to get away with anything without having to take responsibility. And I realized that me voting in any election was giving my responsibility to them. It was giving my power to them. And so that was it. I never voted again. I was like, okay, that's it. I'm going to now fully take responsibility for all that is mine. I'm no longer going to assign it to another person and expect, whether that person be a parent or a spouse or a child or a best friend, I'm no longer going to expect another person to do for me what only I can do for myself. And that is how our entire system has been rigged. We've been, hold on one second, you all. My cat, she wants what she wants. Hold on. So I've had to really, hold on. Okay. So my point in telling the story is that we have to be willing to face ourselves in every circumstance that's showing up in our lives. We have to be willing to understand that anything happening in our reality is actually happening for you. It's not happening against you, but it's your mindset that determines that. So the more we can face the experiences that are coming towards us with a willingness and an open heartedness, and that can be anything. I've had to face it in, people that I have unfinished business with, that where I still have unresolved things, and it feels like fear, or it feels like some sort of disruption in my peace of mind. I have to face that stuff in my body. If my body is doing something and I feel fear around it, I have to face it, because it's the fears that are covering the shadow. And it's such an interesting thing, like just to use Trump as an example. Recently I was out with some friends, and I was listening to someone that I'm close to talk about how much they hate Trump. And I have compassion for that. I understand. But the reality is that we hold a lot of energy around things that really don't have any real power in our lives. Like if you don't really know Trump, like if he's not spit on you, touched you, kicked you, if you're just creating a narrative about a human being based upon videos and stories, things that are not actually personally impacting you, your story of them is impacting you. And so what we're facing really is not the person. We're facing our story of the person. It's the story of the person that is actually making you angry or sick or ill. It's not the actual person, because most of us don't know in these scenarios. We don't know. Like, my father taught me to hate white people because he had actual experiences that gave him reason to hate white people. But I did not have an actual one-on-one primary experience of it. But I took on his belief. So we take on stuff genetically that's passed down through the lineage. Like, these families have been at war with one another for years, but then, 100 years away, you're still fighting, but nothing, it's something that happened 100 years ago, right? We have to understand how energy works and how this reality works. And are we giving our energy and power away to things that don't really have anything to do with us? We're just told. It's all hearsay, right? So, and it's very important to pay attention to this stuff. It's important to pay attention to how much power and energy you are leaking, how much of your force, your life force, you are leaking in your mind and in your emotional body to things that really don't have anything to do with you. They really don't. And this is particularly true right now for Black people. I got to really say it, because what's happening in the world right now is we're watching the old guard collapse. And because it's out in the media and in our external experiences, we buy into it like it's actually ours, but it is not ours, because we're moving into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius means everyone's original OG code, which is Aquarius, the OG code, will be activated in your system, and your reality will be your system. It won't be this agreed upon thing anymore unless you continue to put your energy in these collective agreements by doing things like voting and, participating in these collective agreements. The way we drain the collective agreement is by not participating in it. And because we have old hooks in it, we have old stories that have not been drained, that have not been dissolved in these systems. You have to face those aspects of yourself and dissolve it, heal it, reconcile it, release it. So the old stories of romance that are like, you need to fall in love and somebody needs to sweep you off your feet, and you need to be, that's an old code that no longer, it might be available for some people, but not for most, because that reality is collapsing. Why? Because the South Node moved through Libra last year, and the moon is in Libra today. So the way we relate to the external reality is changing. I'm trying to explain. I'm explaining ideas that are really just ideas, right? You're not gonna, like, the United States of America is an idea. It's an agreed upon idea. Christianity is an agreed upon idea. So I am giving you guys new ideas to agree upon that are connected to the cosmology, because that will free you from the old constructs if you come into an idea that's truer, which is the cosmology. So when I'm saying you are now meant to relate to the external reality in a different way, how do you do that? How do you actually do that? You do that by telling a new story about yourself. You do that by changing your own identity. So if your identity has been that I'm a mother, so if your main identity, so say you have 100% of energy for identity, and if your identity has been I'm a mother, I'm a Black person, I'm a woman, all the codes that go with that are what you are experiencing. You're going to experience the code of motherhood that is a agreed upon collective idea This is what it's supposed to look like. If your identity is I'm a Black woman, you're going to experience the code of the collective experience of Black womanness. I'm not saying that it won't vary, but there are these general ideas that we have, right? And so if you want out of those collective experiences, you have to name yourself something else. It's like there's that television show that was on HBO where the woman named herself. She named herself. I heard she had an interesting name, but she named herself something else. So you can name yourself something else, and you have to, just the way you know your name and you can feel your name in your body. And when somebody, yes, like Hippolyta, exactly. Name yourself something else. Give yourself a new identity. And how do you source that identity? You source it through your natal chart, because you are designed to function a certain way. You have been coded by the external reality to function in the old way, but you are designed to function in a new way. And now with the age of Aquarius, you get to name yourself. So what are you going to name yourself? I just love this stuff. This is so fun. It's all a game. Um, like Kendrick said in the Super Bowl, it's a game, y'all. And so the call to action is to rename yourself, to literally play the game from the perspective that you are the main character. You get to create the reality you desire. You get to function but you have to train your mind. You have to train your emotions. You have to retrain your internal constitution. You have to recode yourself, and you can do it. And that is what I am sharing. That is why I'm sharing this information, because this is literally the code of Harriet Tubman to get us out of this reality and into freedom. I tapped into the code of Harriet Tubman to access freedom from within. Harriet Tubman, in the narratives that we have, she actually went to the physical places and helped people, but it's a code, it's energy. So this code for Harriet Tubman is freedom from inside of yourself. It's not the physical thing anymore. The new terrain now is consciousness. We have exhausted the physical realm. We have exhausted it, right? The physical is coming undone. We have exhausted it. So now we have to go back inside of ourselves and create a new code and get free from the old external code that's done now and recode ourselves to a new experience. Name yourself give yourself a new identity. Isn't it fun, y'all? It's so much fun. So the moon is in Libra today, and the moon in Libra is about relationship, partnership, others, right? How you relate to others. Now, let's have it be how others relate to you, because others are going to relate to you based upon who you say you are. So if you say, like I said, change your identity. If you say, I am a god, I am a goddess, I am powerful, I am moving, I have dominion over this reality. Everything I touch turns to gold. Everything is working in my favor. If you show up in that identity and you literally believe it, you live in it. Now, I have had to do a lot of work to get myself to be able to hold the frequency. Sometimes I can touch it for 1 second, right? It's like in the Bible, Jesus said, I felt somebody take virtue from me. This woman came and touched the hem of my garment, and she touched the energy of Christ, and she took his essence, right? So sometimes I can hold it for 10 minutes, but I'm working to build my strength so I can hold it longer, so you can hold more light. Because we have been in the lower levels, we have been in the lower frequencies, we have been in the darkness. So as we begin to change our identity, we can hold more light and maintain it so that nothing can come nigh your dwelling place that is old, because you are now a new person. You are a new creature. Why? Because you have renamed yourself. You have changed your identity. When I tell you, let me pop my collar. Let me pop my collar, because, woo, spirit be flowing through me. God dang. I'm telling you, y'all, we on to something else. We're on to something else from inside of ourselves. We're getting free from our old identity, from our old belief systems, from our old practices, from our old ways of being. We are breaking the chains of our old consciousness. It's profound, you all. It's profound to be alive right now. It is profound. And so what you get to do is do the rituals, right? So with the Libra energy, one of the things that I do for Libra energy is I do dry brushing. I have, if you guys, for those of you who got the list, the Amazon list, with the things that we are using, the tools, because Libra is about appearance and beauty. Libra is, whoo. So I got my little dry brush here, and it's copper ions, and we brush. So usually you do it naked, right? I don't, or, and so you just brush, and you want to brush to the center, up the legs, all the way up, right? And what that does is it cleans your lymph, and you brush, and I might do this for 5, and do this around my abdomen, because it's getting your lymph, it's draining your lymph, it's cleaning your lymph systems, and that keeps you purified. It purifies your body. So, and then down the neck. And so I do it when I don't have clothes on, but in the back, and everything coming through the drainage, because you want to drain. And then the kidneys, right? So Libra is our kidneys. When you just want to just give some love to your kidneys, y'all. The kidneys, oh, the kidneys are incredible. The kidneys hold our the memories of our lineage, our family. Why? Because it runs the water through the body, and the water holds the memory. Your water is the water that we drink holds the memory of all of our ancestors. Um, the water that we drink is all the water that has always been on the planet, like literally. And when you take it into your body, it recodes your body with the memory. So that's why it's important to talk to your water and say, thank you for healing me, for cleansing me, so it doesn't recode you with the old memories. So it recodes you with new memories, right? So you thank it, you say, I love you, and please cleanse me. And when it goes through the body and and then it goes through the kidneys, and the kidneys have a function in them that then takes it out to the bladder. So it goes in the body, and then it shifts. So the internal, which is the feminine, shifts to the internal. And then the kidneys have a function that shifts it so that it comes out to the external. So that's the feminine that goes in. Anything that goes in is feminine. Anything that comes out is masculine. So we have these functions happening inside of us simultaneously, the masculine and the feminine, in every area of our bodies. We are miraculous beings. We are divine beings. We are God made manifest in form. You are the living embodiment of the divine. You are God in form. You are consciousness made into one being. And you get to say who you are. I am God. I am Goddess. I'm the mountains. I'm the air. I am all of it. I am all things. I am one with all things. I'm a vessel for spirit. And in the moon in Libra, with the sun in Aquarius, 2 more days with the sun in Aquarius, you show up as who you say you are. I'm the baddest motherfucker walking the planet. Nothing has dominion over me. I am an expression of love. I'm an expression of power, of truth, of consciousness. I'm an expression of the one. You name yourself. So with that, y'all, I am deeply grateful to always be with you all. I feel very blessed. I really do. I feel very blissed out. I said that for somebody who's going to be listening. She knows who she is. I feel very blissed out and honored to be in sacred space with you all in this way. It's to be alive right now is not to be alive right now is a really is a gift. It's a gift. It really is. So peace and blessings. If you all need support, you can check out my website, healwithmoonmama.com. We are relaunching Daughters of the 13 Moons. We're going to be having a free orientation on Wednesday evening. If you would like to come, we're going to be Daughters of the 13 Moons is going to be a sacred community, sacred sisterhood, where we are going to come together under the moon phases to learn to practice our magic, to learn how to heal ourselves, to increase our intuition, to learn how to be, a visible experience of magic in our families and our lives and our friendships, to really learn how to walk in a new identity, in a new way, because it's time. All right, you all. Peace and blessings. I love you very much. Bye bye.